Bam! In the early hours of July 16, 1945, something terrifying and new happened in the desert of New Mexico. Just before 6 a.m., the sky was filled with a light 3 times brighter than the surface of the sun, an event observed by a secret group of scientists and military experts. This was the Trinity test, the first explosion of an atomic bomb. Powerful, dangerous, and lethal, the atomic bomb has loomed as a threat ever since. So why did we create the atomic bomb in the first place? How does it work? And why is it such a big deal? Well, to understand all of that, we're going to need to go back to the 1930s. Before World War II, the Nazi Party in Germany was growing in power and strength. They persecuted many, most notably Jews, but also homosexuals, Catholics, communists, artists, intellectuals, and the handicapped. It was obvious that they were up to no good. Several Jewish scientists left Germany for fear of their lives, and many of them fled to the United States, where they brought troubling information with them. The Nazis were trying to develop powerful new weapons to use in future wars. Now, even though we weren't fighting with Germany at the time, President Roosevelt was concerned about what would happen if Germany started a war. The German scientists warned Roosevelt about the Nazi weapon programs and about the most dangerous weapon of all, an atomic bomb. Atomic bombs are much more powerful than regular weapons. When people describe atomic explosions, they refer to the size of the explosion in kilotons. A kiloton is the amount of energy released by exploding 1,000 tons of TNT dynamite. Think about that, 1,000 tons. That's 20,000 pounds of dynamite in 1 kiloton. Atomic bombs do this by using a process called nuclear fission. Here, atoms of matter are broken down into energy. Uranium is used because it's the easiest atom to split apart. However, it leaves behind small pieces of matter that are unstable and continue to break down. This is called radiation, and it's incredibly dangerous. Even minor exposure can cause burns, and overexposure often leads to cancer or other diseases. Learning about this threat, Roosevelt decided he needed to take action. He instructed the military to begin a top-secret project to develop an atomic bomb of our own, one we could use against Hitler and his Nazis. The military hired the best scientists they could find and called the program the Manhattan Project. Over the next several years, the United States spent millions of dollars on this project. An entire city was constructed in Tennessee, known as Oak Ridge, to refine the special fuel needed for the atomic bomb to work, uranium. The project was the most tightly guarded secret in the country. For example, the Oak Ridge facility had 75,000 employees, and no one in the city knew what they were actually working on, not even the military commander in charge. Each person only knew enough how to do their job, and sharing any information with anyone else was a federal crime. It took several years, but by 1945, the scientists in charge of the Manhattan Project had designed 2 different types of atomic bomb. They tested the first design on July 16th, and the test was a massive success. President Truman ordered the bomb be used to help end World War II. Though it had been designed to help fight Nazi Germany, the German army had actually surrendered a few months before the bomb was ready. However, the United States was still fighting Japan. Many Americans were still angry at the Japanese for the sneak attack at Pearl Harbor, which is what had pulled America into the war in the first place. Also, Truman wanted to end the war quickly. Because the Japanese government continued to fight and was reluctant to surrender, many people feared that trying to invade Japan would cost the lives of many American soldiers. So, in August of 1945, 2 atomic bombs were dropped on cities in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The bomb dropped on Hiroshima released 16 kilotons of energy, the same as 320,000 pounds of TNT. 200,000 people were killed in the explosion, and many more suffered illness from the radiation. Most of those injured in the attacks were civilians. Because of this, many people think that dropping the bombs on Japan was morally wrong. The devastation caused by the bombs was certainly horrific. However, Japan did surrender shortly after the second bomb was used. To this day, there's still debate over whether or not using them was the right thing to do. After the war, development of new bombs continued. Modern nuclear weapons are hundreds of times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb was. Countries that have nuclear weapons have avoided using them largely because they're afraid of the horrible consequences that would come with doing so. The legacy of atomic weapons is, well, complicated. The weapons themselves remain dangerous and terrifying, while some of the technology they've produced, such as nuclear power, has been tremendously beneficial. At the end of the day, nuclear technology is not going away. It's something we need to learn how to harness safely and peacefully. Hopefully, the first use of atomic weapons will end up being the last use of them as well.